Tampa Home Talk, and you are here with me, Katrina Madewell, and my favorite Mr. Co-host,
Leo Kane with Beryl Engineering and Baby Proofing.
That's right, and Adam Talley is going to be calling in later for his 2-minute insurance tip of the week, and will not be joining us today in the studio, but he'll be on by phone. This weather, oh my goodness. Pat George, is traffic a mess this morning or what?
You have to ask, well, of course you don't drive that far, but yes, it is a mess everywhere. And you probably noticed that not only do we have heavy traffic, rain, and it's an ugly day, but we also have an airplane that, is it still on Bruce? Yeah, it's still on Bruce B. Downs, the plane that landed yesterday right at I-75.
I was going to say, wasn't that last night? I could have swore I saw that pop up on social media.
Yeah, yesterday at 11 o'clock, engine problems on what looks like it turned out to be the mosquito spraying plane.
Oh, my goodness.
He actually landed on the road, and a guy looked over to his left, and there was an airplane passing him underneath the overpass.
Yeah, can you imagine driving down the highway and seeing that? Can you imagine that, Leo? That would be something. I don't think you would ever forget that.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes planes have to make emergency landings. So Bruce B. Downs with its wide 6 lanes and no medians, that sounds like the place to be.
We had a hot air balloon one time. They used to land all the time by our house, but then it got so built up that they're much further north now and a little bit east. But I remember one time they had to make an emergency landing on our street.
I've never seen a hot air balloon in Tampa Bay.
Really? They used to land we would hear them in the morning. On Saturday morning, we would be laying in bed and they land early.
Have you ever been up in one?
I have, actually, twice. I'm deathly afraid of heights.
This is Tampa Bay.
Yes.
Hot air balloons.
Yes.
Oh yeah, they used to be. It was a common thing to get up in the morning and see them anywhere. Out in fields like right off the Lutz area.
Before we were crazy populated like we are now. Right. Yeah, I remember Saturday morning. Like I've been in my house for almost 20 years, and I can remember my husband and I laying in there Saturday morning, and hearing the shh.
Go right over the top of the house.
Sure. Yeah, they would literally. Sometimes I would run outside to look, and they would be right above the house.
I feel like I need my top hat monocle, and I need to twirl my mustache.
Not kidding. So one time, my kids were little. I'll never forget this. It was so close. Like we would hear them all the time because you can hear them when they. Yeah. What is that called?
Well, it's called hot air balloon because you heat the air because hot air rises. So if you heat the air into a balloon, then that's pushing the pressure up so you can fly.
The science behind that, but the noise that goes with that is pretty loud. Yeah. So we remember hearing it, and it was during the week. I'll never forget it. And my kids heard it, so they always knew what the sound was. They were little, and they're like, "Where is it? Where is it? Can we go see?" I'm like, "Sure, let's hop in the car and go see where it is," because it was really close. Literally went down the street and saw it landing in the smallest little area. And it was just, and we're like, they don't normally land here. The winds, I guess, got a little bit crazy, and they decided to land on our street.
I guess I learn something new every day.
They used to fly over Leo's house, like back in the late 1800s and 1900s, when Tampa was it didn't go any further north than Columbus Drive.
Yep. And remember, all of Del Mabry, even where you are, Pat, at one point, that was the sticks. It was so rural.
Oh, yeah, right at Bush Boulevard. It ended right at Bush. I mean, there was nothing.
Yeah.
That Bush overpass was never there. So.
And then, of course, Pasco County was super rural. They used to land like where that Publix is all the time, at Collier and 54. Then they started pushing a little bit further up because it was all horse farms.
So you're telling me they regentrified out the hot air balloons?
I'm saying they moved further north where there's more land.
And they just pushed them all out.
Yeah.
Like all these hot air balloons had a good home, good community, and they just got pushed further north.
Sort of, yeah. Yeah, I miss seeing them and hearing them, honestly.
It sounds like it'd be relaxing, except you know that at any given moment someone could drop something through your roof.
I still would always get up and run out to see them. It's pretty fascinating, right? To hear that noise and run outside and look up and you see this huge balloon.
Yeah.
Katrina, you got to tell the story about when we did traffic from the airplane and the house you sold.
Hot air balloons. Actually, he's talking about you right now. So say that one more time, Pat George, because I think the person you're talking about is actually watching us live.
I thought it was by helicopter, not by plane.
Go ahead.
The house that you sold, speaking of dropping things, the house that you sold with Warren.
Yeah.
The airplane to do traffic.
Yeah.
Speaking of dropping things.
Leslie is actually watching us live right now on Facebook.
Yeah, we used to drop Skittles from the airplane on her husband when he was building his house and he was putting up a metal roof. And And the pilot and the traffic reporter, when they fly over, he'd wave to them. They'd drop Skittles on them.
I'll never forget that. Like Pat George telling the story on the air about how he was dropping Skittles on his friend's roof. And then Pat, what was it? 3 weeks later, you called me and introduced me to Leslie and Warren to sell their house.
Right.
Remember? It was pretty fascinating. Anyway, lovely people. Really amazing people. Their house was great.
And 60 years later, you guys are doing radio together.
Yeah, something like that. I'm not that old, Leo. Stop trying to throw me out there.
Hey, you're telling me stories of the turn of the century in Tampa Bay with hot air balloons.
And what Warren is actually saying he totally remembers that. So they're chiming in. Thanks for watching us live on Facebook. And we do stream there. If you follow me or Tampa Home Talk, you'll be able to check us out. The houses, I tell you, my property that I had, the large tract, it's like 5 acres right on Lake the Nonasassa. It's right about 500,000. That one's back on the market. We had an all cash buyer that just totally flaked and extended. So that one's available again. I don't know how that one's still available.
I have 2 houses like on my dog walk path, which is only a third of a mile long. I do it 6 times. But we have 2 houses on my dog walk path for sale.
And I've got a great property that's literally walking distance from the beach. It's getting prepped right now. It's in a little neighborhood called Vina Del Mar out on Paso Grill.
Yeah, that's a nice.
So cute. It's
love it.
so California-ish, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So the neighbors have literally been calling me because the sign is there, and we've been preparing. Well, unfortunately, the realtor organization is way too involved in how we market and advertise our listings. So because I put the sign out there and it wasn't on the open market yet, they fined me $500.
Oh, wow. Really?
Welcome to being a realtor. Anyway, yeah, so it's temporary off market. So if we have a lot of agents actually that listens to the show. So if you have a prospective buyer, we definitely cooperate with other agents very well. And it is in the MLS, temporary off the market while we're finishing up painting and flooring and all that sort of stuff. But it's a great property, 675,000 walking distance to the beach. It is stellar. Stellar. So let's chat about these numbers this week. I'm really curious to.
It's about the same. I mean, we're kind of running dry on the new listings. I mean, we're kind of hovering under 700. We've been under 700 now since the middle of September. We're getting towards the time of the year where we should start to see a small spike after Thanksgiving, before New Year's. We usually see a spike in the amount of new listings per week. But it is still on the dwindly side.
Then you have some people that wait till after the holidays, right? So it just depends. But
well, yeah, I mean, you have all those investors that want to get rid of their property so they don't have to schedule K1 into a new year. So and then you get a lot of cash transactions where people are pulling money out of the stock market to hold the money so they don't have to do capital gains, and they rebuy in January. So that it's very cyclical. So I'm expecting to see the after Thanksgiving we should be back near 800 for new listings.
One of the things we've been talking about a lot is the prices. So a lot of people that have lived in Tampa Bay, and Pat George, I'm sure you can probably feel this as well, but they're like having a little bit of sticker shock, right, with the current prices as they are. And I had actually pulled this little clip from Dave Ramsey where he was he got a call from someone that just says, "Are we in a bubble? Are we in 08?" Right? And we've talked about this so many weeks on the show, how this market is not the same as 08.
No,
this
the money is
not,
real. The money
real
is
money.
tangible money. In fact, it shows up to your property in a briefcase.
Let's not get crazy, Leo. But there is real money, and people are actually qualified where they were not so in 2006, which is what created the bottom of the market crash in 08. And it's interesting because I tell people all the time, it's going to slow, but I think it's going to be more recession related. So like when the economy as a whole starts to slow, that's when I think the housing market's going to cool. Whether that will be next year, early, late, or the year after, it remains to be seen. Nobody knows that for sure. But we're way overdue, for that little market correction. So we'll see how that goes. But I had someone I know that actually owns a lot of real estate, a lot of investment properties. And this part is really important if you're thinking about investing in real estate, because a lot of people are saying, "Oh, I'm going to wait for the market to cool. I'm going to wait for the market to cool, or I'm going to wait to buy." And the people that thought that last year are actually glad that they bought last year instead of waiting. But any real estate decision that you make, almost any real estate decision, is a great decision 10 years from when you bought it. So think about that. Yeah. So can you guarantee that in the stock market if you go buy a stock? Absolutely not. Hence why I think real estate's always a better investment, personally.
I'm a Shiba Inu billionaire.
Well, we'll talk about that when we get back after the break. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. You can call or text if you want some information on how to invest in real estate. We'll be back in just a moment. Stick around. Going on here in the studio this morning.
What is that music?
He's looking at me like it's me, but it's his phone. I'm looking at him like, what's wrong with you?
I'm like, what is that music? I thought it was coming from the headphones.
No, it was your phone.
Oh.
Was that someone's ringtone?
I don't know. I'm on
All
silent.
right. We were talking about buying investment property at the top of the hour, and so let me give you out our off-air number again. If you got questions on this, you want to know where to start. If you got a home that you were thinking about selling but you don't need to, might be a good idea to make it an investment property and buy a new one. Our off-air number is 813-377-2775. Again, 813-377-2775. We never actually ran through the number, so let's do that real quick. So the number of new listings, 3 counties, single-family homes, 688 to pick from as of this Friday morning. And our pending properties is 1133. So 1,133 pending as of this morning in the last 7 days.
So we're pretty steady. I mean, between last week, this week, the week before. I mean, I'd say since the middle of October, we've been at these numbers.
And our sold numbers are still knocking on double where our active listings are. So we have 688 to pick from, but we've sold 1,017 in the last.
So that would be the only
7
difference.
days.
So where new listings and pendings have been pretty steady since October, this is the highest number we've seen since the beginning of October for sold. So it looks like whatever's going on behind the scenes, they get their paperwork ready now.
They're pulling through.
Yeah.
Definitely. And let's look at back on the market. So this week, and
that's a large number.
So it's not a true depiction of actual data, and I'll tell you why. Because the real estate organization has got involved. Prime example, that property I have in Vina Del Mar.
You had us to pull up the
So
market.
I had to put it on and then make it TOM, which is temporary off the market. So when that comes back on the market as an actual live listing, it's going to show back on the market. It'll be included in this number. Mm-hmm. But that's not a true depiction of what back on the market's supposed to be.
So what is back on the market supposed to be?
So that basically what it should be is like if something was pending and it basically came back on the market, that should be there. So if it's not a brand new listing, it's not appearing in that top number. It's going to be in the bottom number, the 242.
Okay.
And then still seeing price increases. There was 136 of those, but not as many as the price decreases. 405. How's that looking from last week?
Yeah, pretty steady. I mean, price increases. This is the largest we've had since June.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't understand really so much why people increase the prices. I do know that the market will correct it. So any price you put out there, the market will make a correction on.
That one just baffles me. I'm not getting enough offers. I'm going to raise my price.
Well, I think sometimes they think about it, right? Or they maybe talk to some neighbors and they go, "Oh, that's that price for that house," but they don't know anything about the specs or how that comped out to a different one.
Sees that. The only thing I can see, like you're due to renovation, you finished it, and then you raised the price. But I don't know. That one doesn't make any sense, especially with the number of price decreases we have.
So I tell you, if and we haven't mentioned this enough, so we should definitely mention it week by week. Some of the things we do for our past clients is we love to do an annual CMA, which is a comparative market analysis. We give you an idea what your home's value is worth. And so we tell our clients, take that every year at a minimum so you can update it. And you should have like a net worth tracker of some sort. And if you don't have that, you should have it. And it's a good thing to put kind of on your balance sheet, if you will, so you can see how you're doing. And so if you want to get a CMA for the value of your home, no pressure. We'll give it to you every year. You can call or text us at 813-377-2775. We'd love to keep you abreast of what is going on. 813-377-2775. And we're supposed to have a call-in guest this morning. Pat, is he with us?
Is Pat with us?
I don't think he is. I think he's doing traffic in the other room. So
tip of the week?
Yeah, you have a tip of the week, and then we're going to talk about a hot button in the market right now. So you roll to your home inspection tip of the week. What are you seeing out there?
Oh, I've seen a lot of electrical flubs.
Like what?
I don't know. Just like we had a run of electric. I guess I don't think copper wiring is in short demand or short supply, but we're seeing a lot of electrical issues out there. Outlets not wired correctly during renovations. We're seeing a lot of electrical open grounds. They're renovating an older home. They're short changes by swapping out. An older home doesn't have to be grounded. So what that means?
Can you take just a moment and explain to our listeners what that is? Because I often see that it gets flagged on a 4-point, and the buyers and the sellers many times are like, it's not grounded. So what does that mean, and why is that a big deal? Because I've used that plug just fine.
So the way the ground is supposed to work is electricity, like water. You hear the common two phrases out there: water finds its own level, and electrical goes to ground. So what those mean are water will find its own level. So if you have a roof leak, eventually that roof leak is going to manifest itself in your baseboards and your flooring, because it's just going to keep going down until it finds its own level, which is the water table, which is actually under your house. But with electrical goes to ground, what that means is electricity always wants to go to the earth, in that's where it's attracted to. So you get a lightning strike up in the clouds, it goes straight down to the surface. So electricity wants to go to ground. If you don't give electricity a path to go to ground, it goes through whatever is touching the ground. So when you have an outlet that's ungrounded and you have a lightning strike, what's supposed to happen is when you have a lightning strike on a house, it's supposed to go through the ground, which is a part of your electrical equipment, and just go straight into the earth, and your roofing gets fried. You might lose some appliances, but everything in the house is fine. If the house isn't grounded, that electricity is going to go everywhere. I've heard cases before where someone taking a shower gets electrocuted when the house gets struck by lightning.
Wow.
So the electricity just goes everywhere.
Even to the shower.
So if you have an ungrounded outlet and that device shorts out, instead of going into the junction box and down to ground, it's going to go through you. So ungrounded electrical outlets are fire hazards. They're dangerous. Now you can be saying, "Hey, Leo, I have these 2-pronged plugs. Does that mean the device is grounded?" I'm like, no. A ground is that third prong. It's that big round one that's beneath the 2 little pokers.
So how does someone make their plugs grounded if it's an older home with those 2 plug systems?
There's different ways you can do it. If you have an old metal junction box, you can actually ground the electrical to the box. Because the box itself is metal, it'll go to ground.
All of it still, even with the 2 plug prongs, or you could change those out?
Well, with the 2 plug pronged outlets.
Say that 3 times
Yeah,
fast.
the 2 plug pronged outlets, you need to actually swap the outlet out with one that has the 3 plug. Look, but if you don't ground the outlet, and that's what we're finding, they're swapping out the cover plate, they're not swapping out the outlet wiring itself, so it looks grounded, but it's not.
It's that one extra wire.
Yeah.
That has to be connected.
It has to be connected in either to the house ground. So yeah, the 2 ways I've seen them do older houses is one, they'll ground each outlet individually to the junction boxes individually, or they'll tie it into a central ground.
So just so you guys know, when they come in to do a home inspection, they're not ripping all of your plugs out of the wall.
Oh, we have a tester.
They have a little device that
a
can
$7
plug in.
tester, and you can get that same $7 tester. And if you're not interested in testing your ground fault outlets, which are the ones near water, when you hit the button, you hear a pop and it goes dead. If you're not interested in testing those, you can buy the outlet tester without all the fancy stuff for like $4. But spend the extra $3, get the functionality.
Yeah, I mean, that's a simple little test you could do on your own as a seller that could matter.
Yeah, just walk around your home and plug that thing in, and because we find so many. And I mean,
and it can't be that expensive to even have the electrician do it.
To do the test?
No, to wire it properly.
Well, to wire it properly, they're going to charge you. The way electricians work is they charge you a trip fee, a diagnostic fee, and then a rate fee. So that's what they're going to do. So, I mean, to do one outlet could be like $250.
But they're coming to do many, probably is not much more.
Doing many outlets will cost you like $300 total. I mean, because, once you eat the other 2 costs, it's really fast. That's what we do. We get our electrical work together in groups, and then we get the person in there to do it. We got some great recommendations for electricians, by the way.
Yeah, we do too. We're blessed, really. I wish we had as many for plumbers, but maybe we should get some of your connections.
I only have 2 for plumbers, and that's all I need.
Isn't that interesting that it's, some trades are more abundant than others?
Well, I mean, yeah, just go into the, you were mentioning the realtors earlier. If you go into their realtor area, they have like 70 home inspection companies. Most of them are just one-person shops, though.
Yeah, so you heard the news, I'm sure, this week that Zillow is no longer the iBuyer, right? They're no longer buying the homes.
Oh, I didn't hear that. I don't watch the news.
Yeah, well,
this is the news for me.
Yeah, they're giving you, it's everywhere. But Zillow had this instant offer feature, like right next to their Zestimate button, and they are no longer buying homes. So
They got shut down by someone?
no, they basically publicly announced that they are no longer going to buy properties. They said they're going to put a pause on it.
What legal battle are they in?
I mean, they're not exactly a profitable company if you've ever looked at their numbers, which is why I don't understand why their stock price is so high.
Really? They keep selling outrageous ads to real estate agents.
I'm not one of the ones that buys them, but
You think they'd make a killing in that?
they're saying that basically the forecasting of home prices far exceeds what they expected, and they said it results in too much earnings and balance sheet volatility, which I thought was interesting because it was always like that for them even before they started buying homes. So anyway, if you want an accurate price for your home, 813-377-2775.
Welcome home, Tampa Home Talk, 813-377-2775. That's 813-377-2775.
And so let's continue on this article, shall we? Just a little.
Okay, so Zillow, I mean, it is very volatile to buy a home and sell a home. I mean, if you can't do it really fast and it lingers on a balance sheet, you can have a big loss in one quarter and big gains in another. I mean, yeah, if your model is to have shareholders show a steady increase in the percent of your revenue, then yeah, home buying is not the way to do it. I mean, well, doing a flip and getting held up on a permit for 8 months, that can really destroy your paper.
Yeah. Well, by the way, this article, Associated Press did a great job writing it up, so I just want to give them credit to their article. But so I just want to share a couple things that they have in there because they did also repeat things directly that Rich Barton said, which is the CEO of Zillow. And so they're saying basically that they're winding it down because it's going to take several quarters that will result. It's also going to result about 25% of reduction in the company's workforce. Right now they have 5,300 employees and they're going to cut that by a quarter.
So what were those people doing? Were they renovating a home?
No. This is people that work directly for Zillow. So in some capacity or another. I don't know why they have so many people, but, I guess they do for a reason. So they're saying that they want to put a pause on it because of the backlog in renovations and operations due to labor and supply constraints.
That makes sense.
Well, we're all dealing with that. More importantly, I just have to read the next two parts, which is a direct quote. Well, one of them is a direct quote from Rich Barton. So he says, we've determined that the unpredictability in the forecasting home prices far exceeds what we've anticipated, and continuing to scale Zillow offers would result in too much earnings and balance sheet volatility. But I'm going to share their...
But that's pretty funny since... forecasting home prices is exactly what Zestimates are supposed to do.
Okay, but wait, there's more. It gets better.
Wait a second. That's what they do. That's what they started off with.
The Zestimates. What made them famous.
Forecasting.
Right. So the company also disclosed that it took a write-down of about $340 million because it bought homes during the third quarter at prices that exceeded the Zillow's estimates for what these properties will fetch in the future. Isn't that interesting?
So they basically had inept people making offers on homes.
And they overpaid for them.
Yeah.
Or their estimate is not correct is kind of what I'm hearing about that.
Was it the president of Zillow's, didn't his own home go for 30% under his own estimate?
Yeah, we did a whole show on this. You remember this? Yeah, it's one of our older podcasts.
They're getting burned by their bad estimating software.
Kind of, yeah. That's the algorithm.
They have inept people putting offers in on houses without actual research.
Well, it goes to what we've always said, right? So you can't rely on what any of these online companies say your value is, because Zillow can't tell when they walk through your home if it's a weird floor plan. Zillow can't tell if you have dirty carpet. Zillow can't tell if you've got a weird odor in your house, right? They can't tell all of those things.
Well, that's why you need competent boots on the ground to qualify these homes.
Right.
I mean, there's the pad company out there, and they seem to do a decent job doing that aspect
here's the
of
thing,
it.
though. When you look at that, think about who the agents are that are going to work for Zillow.
They're going to be hourly. Wasn't there like a Redfin? Didn't they do hourly real estate agents?
Yep,
Whatever
they all
happened to
do
them?
it. But think about who those agents are. Are they an agent like me?
They're definitely not going to be a go-getter or self-starter.
They're people that
high
can't make
salesperson.
it in the traditional real estate model. That's exactly what that is. So one more couple little tidbits I have to just talk about because it is what it is. Zillow said that they expect to book an additional $240 million to $265 million in losses in the fourth quarter, primarily on home transactions that are expected to close this quarter. That's what they're saying anyway.
So basically, because of delays, they're going to have more. They're just not. It's really hard to take a publicly traded company with publicly traded company mentality of I have to show a percent increase. It's not that like you can do $2 million in profit one year and you can do $2.1 million in profit the next. And if you're a private company, that's awesome. If you're a publicly traded company, the world is on fire. You've still made $2.1 million, but the world is on fire because your percent increase is lower than what you think your percent increase should be.
But if you look at them, they're not a profitable company. They've always pretty much lost money.
All these online companies, you look at Amazon, you look at Google, you look at Bing, you look at all these initial web-only companies, they all lost money starting off. They're
still in the red, though. Which is why I don't understand why people keep buying shares, but apparently it's enough to where their shares fell 10.2% the Tuesday before the release of the earnings, and the stock slumped another 12% in after-hours tradings after the announcement, which was Tuesday.
That's another thing with stocks. You always buy on rumors, sell on news. So anytime you get an earnings report, people are selling stock. So, I mean, I've never really seen stock increase after an earnings report. It's usually the other way around. It goes down. You buy on the rumor, that's going to be a great report. Then you sell on the news of what the report actually is.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But, it's interesting. Why don't you look up Zillow's stock price? Can you do that real quick? And we'll just share what that is. I'm just curious what that looks like. And we were supposed to have a pest control guy on this morning, but I guess he got stuck in the rain somewhere. So you'll have more Zillow and real estate talk from us.
So it is currently sitting at $67. It's already down 2%. But if I look at it,
what's our 52-week high?
I look at it for a 5-day, it's down 36%.
Wow.
1 month, it's only down 22%.
What's the 12-week?
6 months, it's down 41%. And year to date, it's down 50%. So,
wow. And the stock price is how much again?
It is currently it just went up a little bit. So it's almost $67.50. But yeah, year to date, if you were a big time Zillow holder, you would be down 50%. And you would have incurred basically 36 of that 50% in the last 5 days.
I'm not a financial advisor, but I don't think those stocks are good picks, nor do I think the banks are a good bet, because I think you're going to see some shifts in their numbers as well.
Yeah, no, but you have to ask yourself, when a stock dips this much, this fast, is it sustainable? It's gone down 35% in 5 days. Eventually, you're going to get people gambling on that and saying, hey, it's going to go back up. So there's going to be this inflated influx of money trying to guess what the quote-unquote low is. Because let's be real, Zillow is not going anywhere. So when a company isn't going anywhere.
Well, let's talk about this, because Zillow originally got their earnings from real estate agent revenue.
Right. They sell ads so people can have their smiley faces when you're looking up homes.
Then they were a publicly traded company, which has been this cash infusion of this business for a while.
Right. They didn't know what to do with the cash, so they start thinking, hey, we're going to be our own MLS.
So they betted against the real estate agent. And I just don't think that they have the knowledge or the qualified manpower to do that. That's what I think.
But you have to think, is Zillow going to disappear? Is there something like, when will the stock bottom out? When will the price start to increase? What will it increase to? And I always say that when I see a stock dip this fast in this short amount of time. I mean, you get your AMCs out there.
Well,
You
let's
get your
imagine for a
movie
minute-
pass that they're like the companies are basically going out of business. Zillow's not going out of business.
What if the market shifts next year? Do you think that's going to have an impact on it?
Well, I think if the market shifts and it starts to crash, like the stock market, the housing market, which market are we talking about?
Well, I don't think it's going to crash, but what about the economy as a whole, right? It's been really strong. Inflation's on the rise. Look at gas prices.
Well, yeah, inflation's on the rise. Gas prices are now hovering around $3.50. I mean, when I was west a couple of weeks ago, it was over $4. So gas prices are on the rise. They're considering we're in the great, Great Resignation, they're calling it now.
Yeah.
More people are resigning, and companies are adapting to all these resignations by automating more. I mean, the Winn-Dixie right by my house, they ripped out half their cash registers and they put in those automated self-scan things.
Which I think some people prefer. Don't you think?
I only prefer it because instead of having to wait, they usually had like 10 cashiers, lines, but only 3 cashiers. Now they only have 1 cashier, but they have 6 automated. So I'm up registers, so I have to wait less. I don't want to do my own work, and I'm incredibly slow at it, at scanning, because I can't seem to get it to scan correctly on the stuff I buy.
And you have some people that are like, I can make it go faster.
But it's still faster than waiting in a line to get scanned. So I'm saving time by doing my own work because they have more registers open. That's what it comes down to.
Well, think about it. They've made the customer actually do the work.
It's interesting.
Isn't that an interesting shift?
It's interesting because Walmart was one of the first companies to do the self-scan checkout because they knew their demographic had most likely work service and retail. So they already knew that their demographic knew how to use the machines. So that's why they put them in. It actually sped Walmart up.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing is fascinating to me, just to follow those little trends that start to continue on, and you start seeing those more and more in some of these other locations. Like I've seen them at CVS, I've seen them at Walgreens, I've seen them. I saw them at a gas station. I was at was it a Wawa or one of those? No, it was a racetrack.
Well, I mean, if you want to actually talk about gas stations, they were one of the first ones to shift from we're going to do this for you to you're going to do this yourself. I mean, when's
Pumping
the
the gas.
seen you full service pump here in Florida?
That's a service I think people would pay for. I'm just saying, because as women, I know I speak for most of us ladies when I say that we just do not like to pump gas. Is your wife that way?
It's more of a laziness factor. I hate touching it. I still have gloves in my car.
Just because.
And I wear a glove on my left hand just to touch everything out there. It's disgusting.
I feel like I'm blessed. I can just plug my car in at home with the same plug that I always touch and no one else has touched it.
That's pretty good.
So I kind of like that. And for me, I guess the timing was good because I didn't even notice how much the gas prices went up until I went with, my husband, and he put gas in our other cars. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. What just happened? So, how much money did you just spend?
So back to your question, I do think that Zillow's stock price is going to rebound. I don't know where the low is. Maybe we've seen it. I mean, it's been hovering.
They're going to have to change their model. That's what I think.
It's been hovering after the dip that happened on November 3rd. It's been hovering to November 5th. So there's going to be some rumor that Zillow's going to come out with that's going to say the rumor about how they're going to increase their profits. That's going to drive this stock up. Like I said, I don't see it disappearing because Zillow's, the company, isn't going away, especially since it's a web-based company, especially if they're getting rid of that much manpower.
Well, the other thing, too, that we don't mention often, and we probably should, is, yes, we're a full-service real estate firm, but if you are looking for one of these instant offers and you just want a cash buyer to come buy your home without putting it on the open market or dealing with showings or any of that stuff, that absolutely is an option for you. We've got a list of cash buyers that will give you a fantastic price for your home, and we found that it's way better than what these iBuyer models are giving you. So
what we should do on the break is
you can call or text us at 813-377-2775, and we'll get you connected with one of those instant buyers if you like. 813-377-2775.
we should look up those other competitors and see what their stock prices are doing. I guarantee you they're going to see an increase.
We will do
I just
that
don't know who they are.
On the break, and we'll chat about that with Adam Talley when we come back right after the break. This is Tampa Home Talk, and our off-air number is 813-377-2775. We'll be back with Adam as well right after the break. Stick around.
Down from 6 months ago, all of them. And most of them are just kind of neutral to where they were 5 days ago. So typically what you would see in a stock market is if one major player of a group of 5 stocks takes a huge hit for internal reasons, you'll see the other ones go up. But if one stock takes a huge hit for market reasons, they'll all go down together. Here, these other 4 stocks are acting about neutral to where they're currently at, and they weren't really impacted by Zillow's move. So
I think OfferPad and Open Door won't be around 5 years from now.
I would agree.
I think Redfin will probably change their model. They may or may not survive. And I think Zillow will sell out. I think like Rich Barton will.
Well, I think Zillow is a search engine of some sort. So a Google might buy them, a Bing might buy them.
Yeah.
They are a search engine.
Right.
So I mean, if you look at the amount of search engines out there. Well, what about Trulia? I mean, Trulia is like Zillow's biggest competitor from the search engine standpoint.
Well, yeah, it was Realtor.com, Trulia, and Zillow. And there's a whole story behind the Realtor.com one, which was supposed to be owned by Realtors. And then they sold to a company called Move. And then actually became a competition or like a competitor, which was weird. Like literally selling our own data back to us. But that's another story for a different day.
It's interesting, though, when I look at the stock prices of these competitors, they weren't really moved by the Zillow thing up or down. And that's usually a red flag in my stock market world.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what these do when the market shifts. You know, the discount players, they just won't make it long term. They never do in real estate. This is an easy market. That's why there's so many people getting licensed. We are looking for talent. So if you're looking for a career in real estate that's sustainable, where you actually will be around doing it still in 5 or 10 years, call or text us because we are looking to add agents to our team. 813-377-2775. You can call or text real estate or agent to 813-377-2775. And that's our off-air number. So you can call or text that, 813-377-2775. So I don't have prices yet, but they're going live today. I've got a little property on the Hillsborough River.
Oh, nice.
That's going to be active soon. Great little property, super affordable.
Does it have a dock?
It does. It does. I had to think about it. Yep.
You said it was on the river.
Yes.
It's a big selling point.
It's on the river, has a dock, right across from the park. It's a great, great, great location.
Nice.
We have it all dolled up and ready to go. And we have another one that needs a little bit more work in Lake Pageant Estates. Great property size. And this particular property is one of the biggest homes in Lake Pageant. And Leo, you would be so impressed to do a tour of this home. It was built older. It's got a lot of deferred maintenance, but the construction design is amazing. Like it has steel beams in it. Like it's built commercial grade.
Nice.
Construction.
You need that. That's
Yep.
awesome sounding.
So that will be a deal. That one's right at 350 or no, I'm sorry, 475. And then we also have Parsons Hill. We have a property in Epperson Ranch coming
Epperson
up for
Ranch.
350.
Nice.
Brand new. Not on the market yet in Epperson. That's going to be sold by Monday.
Is there a barn in the backyard?
350,000. No, it's the lagoon, the Crystal Lagoon. And the one in the river is just 325. I think it's going to go. Don't you?
Yeah, that Hillsborough River, 325. That's a steal.
I think so too. So if you want information on any of these, or you have an agent if you're an agent listening, we get a lot of agents that listen to our show, call or text us at our off-air number. We'll get you the information right away so you can get it to your client. If you are a customer looking or a buyer, or you know someone that can't find a property, call or text us at 813-377-2775, and we will get you connected right away with some of our new listings on the market. Well, it's been an hour already, Leo.
I miss our 2 hours.
I do too. But, programming changes is such. We'll be back, though.
2 hours. Yeah. We'll be back every Friday.
Be back next
I
week.
actually won't be here next Friday.
You're going to dip out on us next
I'll
week.
be in
All
Santa
right.
Fe.
Okay. Well, we will stream live on our Facebook page, and we'll be right here on Money Talk 1010, which is 1010 AM, 103.1 FM, and 92.1 FM. I think I have that right.
Yep.
Again, you can call or text us at 813-377-2775. You all have an amazing and fascinating weekend. We're so glad you're here. Thanks for listening. Love where you live, or we'll fix it. Welcome home.
Love where you live?